How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Emerald City Hockey's first ever playoff post-game live, celebrating the Kraken's playoff win. First ever postseason game, RJ. I mean, I don't think anybody could have predicted this, not even our awesome sponsor, Queen Anne Beer Hall.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were certainly ready for it when it happened. I got to spend almost the entire game at Queen Anne Beer Hall. Let me tell you, Dylan, it was a party over there. The goal horn, the lithium playing and everything, everybody fired up. And what a game to get everybody pumped up for the playoffs. Kraken win. Take a 1-0 series lead after a lot of sites said that they were maybe the biggest underdog in the playoffs. The Kraken come out and win convincingly. I was really impressed by their effort. We can break it all down later, but let's just celebrate for a second.
I know, it was an incredible win. I mean, they did everything that the Kraken have done throughout the course of the season, and then they did everything that we knew they were going to need to do entering this series. As a wild card team, you're a natural underdog, you're playing the defending Stanley Cup champions, all that stuff. But the bottom line is they came in here and you had all four lines rolling. Colorado did not have an answer to the Kraken's depth. They just didn't. You had Philip Grubauer playing incredible, like those moments in time, like the end of the second period where Colorado really got going. Grubauer was the difference maker. He stopped every attempt that they had. He helped pick up for the few mistakes that the Kraken made. That's another thing we talked about. Got to limit mistakes in the playoffs. They'll really kill you, especially against a team with guys like Nathan McKinnon and all of them. Cale Makar. Grubauer was the difference there. And that was just something that I'm so happy to see. And if he's going to play like he did tonight, RJ, I mean, this will just keep happening.
Yeah, goaltending can get you far in the playoffs, and Philip Grubauer was making it happen tonight. And that's one of the reasons I felt cautiously optimistic going into this one.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see Grubauer play this well, and for Grubauer to hopefully silence some of those critics he's had all year long.
All right, so we've got a bunch of super chats lined up. Let's get straight into it. Thank you, everybody, for waiting on here. As we've got over 140 in chat already. Let's get started with Braun here with the first super chat. From day one to now, special moment. Absolutely. From just thinking back, a lot of times today I've thought back to kind of day one, to that first training camp, to our first post-game live. It's been a journey, that's for sure. And I'm so glad that we get to be here with everybody right now.
Yeah, we've talked about it all through, kind of leading up to this moment when they clinched the playoffs, when they got the 100 points, all of it. It has been a really special experience. And to be in here with 160 plus people, everybody, we've all been on this journey together. It's, oh man, it's been so awesome. And now we get to say that we're undefeated in the playoffs, and not because the playoffs haven't started yet.
Exactly. That's, it's a great banner to have, especially when you've played a playoff game. I know they were saying that before the team even came into existence, but it feels like it means a little bit more now.
Just a little.
All right. So next super chat here from Seth. Missed the first two periods, but that third was exciting. Prediction: Kraken in 6. Avs have been a team they've consistently done well against. And that was something we looked at in the series preview, was the season series. And the Kraken pretty consistently have played well against Colorado. The argument, of course, was, it's the playoffs. It's different. They're healthy now. But that didn't seem to make a lot of difference tonight.
No, I mean, Philip Grubauer, again, I think he was the biggest difference maker for them. And yeah, you can point to, if you're like a Colorado Avalanche fan, you point to, well, look, we've got a couple posts, right? Like things like that you don't expect that to go against you every game, whatever. The bottom line is the Avalanche do not have an answer for the Kraken's depth. And I'm sure Bednar, they'll focus on some things. They'll change up what kind of matchups they want to go with for game 2. We'll see if that ends up making any sort of difference. But the bottom line is too much of this game was spent in the Colorado zone if you're the Avalanche. And I don't see a way for them to kind of fix that problem. And so it just kind of puts even more emphasis on their star players than I think even you and I thought it was going to be for them.
Yeah, that was the big question is can the Avalanche spend time in the offensive zone where their stars can really shine and make the kind of plays that like Mikko Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon did on their one goal. But the Kraken just had a bunch of offensive zone time. And I think it's something that maybe the players saw coming just a little bit if things worked out. I got the chance to talk with Eeli Tolvanen and Oliver Bjorkstrand on that line that I think got the most ice time of any Kraken line at even strength tonight. And they spent so much time in the offensive zone. And they were matched up against the McKinnon line a lot. But you know what? They spent a lot of time where McKinnon and his line were almost 200 feet from their own net. And as Tolvanen and Bjorkstrand mentioned to me, that can get frustrating. And if you can wear them down and frustrate them like that, there's no limit to what you can do.
Yeah, no, there really isn't. And we saw it. I mean, Kraken, they stuck to it. Dave Haxall stuck to his, I'm going to roll the 4 lines. I'm going to spread out the ice time. We're not going to let anybody get tired. And then you look at things over on the Colorado side and you see a lot of forwards with over 20 minutes. Evan Rodriguez almost at 20 minutes. Like they were really heavily leaning on their top 6, I mean. And if that's going to continue, I mean, they have to start seeing results. Otherwise, those guys are just going to continue to be frustrated. And the bottom line is you just don't score when you're frustrated. We've seen that. We've been down that road with the Kraken. So yeah, just incredible job from the Kraken all the way through there.
Yeah. More super chats to get to here. We've got Duthan with the first Groo in chat. And let me tell you, Dylan, at the beer hall, the Groos were super loud. Everyone was getting on board with this performance. And I mean, you know what? He stole the game. You look at his goals saved above expected, over 2.5. Based on the shot quality, he saved more than 2.5 goals more than he should have. And I mean, that's the difference in the score right there.
It is. I mean, the Avalanche had a lot of chances in the slots. They had a lot of, in close chances on Grubauer. And the bottom line was he was just a wall. There's no other way to say it. He bailed them out when they had rough turnovers in their own zone. He was a wall. He was making saves with the tippy tip of the shaft of his stick there, right? Like when it's going that well for you, I mean, this is just the end result.
Yeah. I mean, against the Avs, he's just been kind of consistently like this, and that gives me some hope going forward too. CR Bud super chat here. Kraken have never lost in the playoffs.
That's right.
Can't argue with that.
It's right.
Yeah. Thank you. By the way, thank you everyone with these super chats. I'm trying to get to them as much as I can here. Gregory, lemon lime Gatorade time, baby. You got it, Dylan. Gregory knows what's up. Grubauer was a freaking wall tonight. He sure was. And glad you had the Gatorade on hand, Dylan.
Oh yeah, I know. I've made sure I've got it. I've got enough for this series, I think.
Yep, I think so. You better be stocked up given how this is going. All right, next super chat. And I'm so glad we have a super chat in here. Of course, had to get one from you, Medeiros. That man said it's spelled Grubauer, and you better put some respect on it. That was a statement win. Kraken have nothing to lose in this scenario. And I mean, I'll start with the end of that because this is something the players brought up a lot this morning. The phrase nothing to lose. We've got nothing to lose. There's no pressure on us. We're going in against the champs. No one expects anything from us. And I think you saw a team that was just relaxed and playing their game and not feeling that pressure.
Exactly. And I think that's massive. And I think getting that early goal from Tolvanen was huge. And then just the fact that you were never trailing, I think is a big, big deal. When you've got Alexander Wenberg feeling so good that he's taking shots from like 40 feet out, that's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Can you believe that?
I know. He was saving all year, everybody. This is what he was waiting for. The last 2 years, this is what he's been waiting for, was that moment right there. But I think that speaks a lot to the way that this team is feeling, what the culture is within that locker room. And that, I think there's an element of, hey, we're playing with house money a little bit and all that kind of stuff that we all as a fan base have had. And I'm sure that's creeped in and affected them. But I also got to think that in that locker room, they're like, hey, we had 100 points. We're a good team. We can totally do this. And they're going out there and they're showing that.
Yep, the belief's been there all year. And just take a second to pause and acknowledge we're over 200 here in chat for the first time ever. We got a record 213 in here now. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here tonight. All right, super chat. Next one from Schultz. Now for reasons, the Avs with no credit to Kraken. Yeah, I mean, yep. So I do think we need to, the Kraken deserve credit, certainly, for this one. I mean, it's not just the Avs. I think the Kraken went out and played their game and kind of took it to them.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is the Kraken stuck with their game plan. This is, what we talked about a little bit during the preview is, again, can the depth make up for the difference on the top end? And the bottom line is tonight, it very much looks like that is going to be the case for the course of this series. Is there going to be times where guys like Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, they're going to give you fits? Yes, it's going to happen, right? They are that good. It's going to happen. But the bottom line is if the Kraken are going to get depth goals from guys that You're not expecting to score each and every game, but when you get an Alexander Wenberg scoring a big time goal like that, when you get Morgan Geeky scoring a big time goal like that, this is what the outcome is going to be. And this is really the thing that for so many in the national media scope, which, we've talked about, don't always pay attention to West Coast hockey, maybe not paying as much attention to the Kraken, especially given the year they had last year. This is the stuff that's going to take them all off guard. And I think that even for a team like Colorado, it's hard. Are you expecting a team to roll in and have 3 lines all get 16 minutes? It's really not normal. It's hard to prepare for. And I think you saw that a little bit.
Teams just aren't built like this. It really, in a way, if you've been around for 5 or more years, you cannot be built like this under the salary cap.
No.
I think people aren't ready for it. Next super chat here from Tammy. To all the Hackstall and Grew haters, and the little emoji there. Yeah, I mean, they vindicated, I think, certainly tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of went over this in those last couple weeks with the Hackstall stuff, but yes, that was the biggest thing for me watching Grubauer do what he did tonight. Was there was just a moment in the third period where I just said to Afra, I was like, I'm so happy that he's just proving all those haters wrong, and that, you know what I mean? Like he's just, I'm so happy for him to be able to put out this performance, especially after, the last 2 regular seasons haven't been that great for him. You know what I mean? But for him to have this performance and against his old team too, huge.
Yeah, and Dave Hackstall too. When you have 4 days in between games and coaches can kind of scheme up and strategize for one another, especially game 1 in a series like this, it's a coaching battle because you're getting all the tape on the other team and they're getting all the tape on you. And you have to be able to come out and go and play your game, but also know that they know what you're trying to do and make adjustments that way. And I think Hackstall did a good job there.
Yeah, he really did. And, you and I, not huge Jared Bednar fans, so I think maybe we could call
not
this.
Really. Yeah. Next super chat here from Sergeant Pickles. We've got the studs and duds, Dylan. You ready?
Let's go.
All right, duds. Avs in 4, and it's not close. Blue Pants alone deserve the L. No Forsland on the call for ESPN. Like those are great duds.
Yeah.
Studs. That dub was for Andy. Absolutely. For Andy. We did the sticks out for Andy thing earlier in the day. I mean, we were all thinking of him today. I know there's not a person in the Kraken world that was not thinking of Andy as the Kraken won tonight. And, just so glad that they were able to get that done. And I know, as Todd Lywicki mentioned, he said, if we are able to do this playoffs, what we're hoping to do, what we think we can do, we're going to have a big tribute there, and he's going to be part of it. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, there's more studs. I wanted to get on that one for a sec. Cup champs half empty, barn late in the third. Yeah, people were leaving early, I heard.
They were. I mean, they were funneling out of there. And you know what? Through a lot of it, I was thinking like, oh, I'll give props to this Colorado, crowd. Been watching a lot of playoff hockey. They were doing a good job of getting loud, trying to energize their team throughout it. But then there was like this moment in time where I think reality was starting to sink in that, oh, maybe the team isn't going to just kind of flip a switch and turn it on and be the Stanley Cup defending champions and everything. And I do feel like that really kind of took all the wind out of the sails of that crowd pretty fast.
Yeah, it seemed not too loud on the broadcast based on what I saw. I mean, and in a game like that too, Kraken score first, they score early, and the Avs never led. Like that's the recipe to take a crowd out of it.
Oh, definitely.
Next super chat here from Bert Krem. Is it Saturday night yet? Dylan, no matter what happens in game 2, it is going to be rocking at Climate Pledge Arena on Saturday night. Guaranteed.
I was going to say, bring some earplugs. Anybody who's going to that game, RJ, bring some earplugs, bring something, try to stabilize that press bridge because that thing's going to be rumbling and shaking and bouncing, and it's going to be a little bit scary. I
hadn't thought about that.
I know it's going to be loud, and we both know how that thing can get moving. But yes, I mean, it's going to be incredible. I'm so jealous of everybody who's going to get to be there. But on the flip side, also, you stole one of the 2 games in Colorado. That's the dream of every, underdog team or the team coming in that's a lower seed in a situation like this where you're playing a 7-game series. As long as you can get one of those 2 games in Colorado, in this case, going back to Seattle, that's absolutely huge. And the fact that you got it done night 1 and you made it look, not easy, but you made it look like something that you can very well do again on Thursday. I think that's just massive.
Yeah, definitely. And next super chat from Sergeant Pickles. Kraken Rave is a go.
Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. And the number just keeps going up. Everybody in chat
I
here.
know how many
So
people are in
awesome.
here. This is amazing.
Yes. And
Next
thanks.
super.
I
Yeah,
was
go
just gonna
ahead.
say thanks everybody for the super chats as well. I put you on the super chat duty, RJ. And then here you
What
go.
a
You're just going forever. It's awesome.
Yeah, it has been a job tonight, but so happy to do it. So many to get through. And again, sorry for the little delay. I know super chat causes usually be read right away. We've got so many, but really we do appreciate the support so much. I mean, for a game like this, chat is just popping off. Love to see it. And the next super chat here from Johnny Chaz. First ECH playoff dance party. Throw the confetti.
I know I can't though. StreamYard won't let me.
I should have taken some from the beer hall so I could just throw it in the air here.
I
have sticky notes. There we go.
I
Make your own confetti, everybody.
I was gonna say,
And my lucky Martin Jones puck that I will not throw, but
this was my talk to RJ piece of paper. I was writing down all the things I needed to talk to RJ about during our production meeting, and so yay.
I'm sure you'll remember all of those things.
Yeah, I'm sure. None of them are important
It'll
anymore.
be like a normal production meeting.
None of them matter. Kraken batting 1,000 in the playoffs, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. All right. Thank you there, Johnny Chaz. Next super chat here from JMG. Kraken win. Vegas and Edmonton lose. Doesn't get any better than that. I know we haven't even talked about Vegas losing 5-1 in their own building tonight. How about that?
I'm very, very happy about that. I was gonna say, I've been going through. There's obviously a ton of chat in here. It's gonna be really hard to like catch up with most of it. But yeah, not seeing a lot of Sin City in here, and that's pretty cool.
Nope, haven't seen them in chat yet. Not surprised. Maybe heading to bed early tonight. Next super chat here from Zame. Sorry, I didn't watch the game. I was told the Kraken will roll over and abs in 4. So why bother even watching? Oh, well, maybe next year. Yep. Sorry, Zame. Yeah, they got swept. Series over. Maybe next season. They're ahead of schedule,
Yep. I hate when the Athletic is just so on the money all the time, year after year.
Like they always are.
Like they always are. It really gets to me,
Dom's models batting 1,000 as usual. Next super chat here from Edward. 1 down, 15 to go. Let's go.
That's true. Do you know if the Kraken have like one of those boards with like the Stanley Cup and you put the like pucks in it,
Right. I haven't seen one around the practice rink. I haven't seen one around their offices. I haven't seen one anywhere. I think we were all kind of keeping the expectations reasonable. When you have those 16 boards, I know everyone puts those out, but like this season, it just felt like, okay, let's temper that a little bit here. I wonder when those start to show up, though. Maybe if they win the next one, I think we can start to have those 16 win board ready to go.
Those things are showing up tomorrow. Those things are totally showing up tomorrow. They absolutely have to. If your idea was to kind of try to fly under the radar in the postseason, all that kind of stuff, then walking into Colorado against the defending champs and winning game 1 the way you just won game 1, it's gone. All that's gone. You've announced yourself. Number 1 hockey story tomorrow is going to be the Seattle Kraken beating the Colorado Avalanche. I'm telling you, it's a massive, well, maybe second to the Leafs just getting destroyed, but Toronto's
whatever happened in that game was going to be the number 1 story.
Yes,
so
but whenever they go to the B story and they're just tired of just ragging on Toronto, they're going to talk about how amazing the Kraken were, and that's just awesome.
Yeah, love to see that. All right, next super chat here from Becca. Groovy, Maddie, Borgie, Vince, Captain, Wenny, and on and on and on. Everyone showing their playoff form. This was a true full team effort. And I think that's what you need to beat Colorado. You can't have any weak links. And again, the Kraken are just going to depth Colorado to a win. That's how they can do it. Mm-hmm. You need everyone playing the way they can play. And I think to a man, you got those efforts.
Yeah, I really think you did. And I mean, I could just go through and pick out highlights from all of those guys, right? Grubauer, obviously the fantastic saves, all that kind of stuff. I think that one where he got just that little bit of his upper arm on it to send it up into the crossbar and out. That's one of the most incredible saves I've ever seen. Maddie, how about that one shift in the third period where he took on Nathan MacKinnon in the defensive zone and he harassed him high up, never let MacKinnon get going, never let him work down low where he wants to be working. I mean, I was just having flashes of we're going to get to see that for the next decade from this guy. Already he's taken on a top 5 player in this league and harassing him to the point of frustration in his first ever playoff game. Like, that's incredible. Borgie doing what you've been talking about with him, right? Throwing the body around, being big and physical. That second pairing, him and Alexiak, played way better than I thought they were. I was so thrilled with how they played. Vince Dunn taking the puck to the face, getting back out there, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's hockey, right? That's playing playoff hockey right there.
Man, that could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. And I was thinking too, like, I was wondering if he was going to be able to get through the third period without it swelling up too much on him there, because you could see it was starting to get going. I can't imagine what he's going to look like later on. Gord, just all the drives to the net, all the energy he was producing. Wenberg with the shot. I mean, everybody. Schwartz, I thought, was great on the forecheck, throwing the body around, laying into those Colorado defenders. I mean, I could just keep going. This whole roster, everybody was doing stuff.
Yeah, you could just do a whole roll call there. I mean, it's going to be a tough to award the Davy Jones hat tonight, although, maybe it just goes to Grew.
I think you got to give it to Grew, especially going back to Colorado and everything. I think, whenever that happens, I think also with the big time saves and everything, you limit this Colorado team to 1 goal, and you got it.
Yeah. But there are 19 players you can make an argument for the Davy Jones hat tonight. So next super chat here from Rayanne, and got some stars here. Grew with 3 stars, Tolvanen with 2, and Geeky with 1. So third star Grew, second star Tolvanen, Geeky first star there. And yeah, I mean, Geeky first playoff goal. I don't know if those are the official 3 stars or like Rianne's. Yeah, no, because Colorado wouldn't. I don't know. Would they dare put Avs in there as the official 3 stars?
No, I have the official 3 stars, but I do like those 3 stars, Rianne, because I mean, Tolvanen kicking off the game, that's absolutely huge. Obviously, Grubauer, we've talked so much about him already, but totally deserves that. And then Geeky really kind of helped him put the game away in the third period there. That was a big time one. The official 3 stars of the game: Tolvanen third star, Grubauer second star, Wenberg first star.
Oh,
that's weird.
See what happens when you shoot the puck?
I know it's a game-winning goal, but it happened in the second period. It's hard for me not to think that Grubauer deserves first star.
Yeah, I wonder maybe if there's I don't want to say biased that maybe he's not in there. Whatever.
I'm with.
Just keep playing this way. You'll force him to make you first star at some point.
Yeah, I'm with Rianne. I think Grubauer should be first star.
Yeah,
give him the hat.
Then. Yeah, give him the hat. He needs the hat then. Yeah. All right, next super chat here from James. Why do I feel like this group loves being underdogs so much when they know they shouldn't be? So many guys who have been on Stanley Cup teams in the past are paving the way for this team. And I mean, that is kind of the duality of this team, right? Where they've never been here before. They're new to the scene. They are underdogs, but they've got so much playoff experience on this team. Only, I think it was 5 players on the roster, and like 3 of them aren't even, they're Fleury, Magna, guys like who aren't even playing the games, haven't played in the playoffs before. There's a ton of playoff experience on this team, and Stanley Cups on this team. I think that they have 5 or 6 Cup winners already, but they've got a lot of experience there.
It said on the broadcast 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I was forgetting like Martin Jones and such.
Yeah. It's even more than that. But yeah, the bottom line is they have the experience, and then even for the guys that don't have that experience, and I'm really mostly just thinking about Matty Beniers here, for him to come in, and it was interesting because I did feel like Matty Beniers changed his game a little bit. Like, just to talk about him for a second. I feel like he changed his game a little bit. You saw a little bit more of like a dump the puck in and try to go around the guy instead of trying to go through him. I think, you know what I mean? Like, they were trying to limit any sorts of hits that he might take, any sort of that accumulative damage that we always talk about with the playoffs kind of go. I think that was really interesting, but also, again, the defense. I mean, he was going toe to toe with anybody that he needed to in the defensive zone, or coming back checking through the neutral zone. I think was really important. It was always behind the play, but he wasn't letting them get any sort of speed or let that extra attacker into the zone for the Avalanche. He was doing a really good job of, without, taking an interference penalty, making sure he was putting his body in their path forward as he was doing things. And so I just want to really give some credit to Matty Beniers in his first ever postseason game. But yeah, bottom line is they have the vets. They know what this is going to take, and they put it on display.
Yeah. Next super chat here from Sergeant Pickles. Afra treat, Dylan plane ticket, and RJ earplug fund. I think all three of those might come into play here. And hey, if the Kraken go further, well, I mean, we were looking into travel for these first two games. Didn't quite work out. It was very expensive, and also
Yes.
logistics wise, it was difficult. But I'm telling you, they go further. That becomes more and more possible as far as travel for road games, Dylan. We will send you. Oh, but here we go. Afro treats. This can happen right now.
Yes, this one we can definitely do. Obviously, I can't. Not sure I could get to Colorado before Thursday, but got a nice frosted sprinkle cookie here for Afra. I'll give it to her in little bits so we can savor the moment as she does as well. Maybe a little bit there.
Go.
No, I'll try to keep her in frame, but yes, I mean, just to take a moment and thank everybody all year long for all the love from my dog and the fact that not only do I get to go on this journey with you, RJ, my best friend, but Afra gets to tag along with us. It's been really, really incredible and something I did not expect, but it really, really does mean a whole lot to me, everybody.
Yeah, what more could you want? And man, she's certainly benefiting when the Kraken do well. So I don't know if she even knows. I feel like she's got some kind of idea
She knows.
somehow. She's pretty smart. So, but thank you all for making sure Afra gets the treats. Love to see that. And then next super chat here from Light. And I mean, hey, I think Light was ahead of it before we even talked about it, but he's not going to get a lot of attention. But Matty played Dion McKinnon like he was the best defensive center in the league. I mean, we kind of just covered that whole thing, but I mean, way to point that out before we can end up getting to the super chat, Light. Sorry, it didn't work out in that order.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, when the only bad thing I could kind of say about him is he was 18% on the faceoff dot, but like it's his first full season, his first playoffs. Like, come on, like it's not that big a deal. I just he impressed me. I mean, it feels like every time with this kid RJ, and I'll use kid for just the rest of this year, and then after that it's definitely going to be man. But every time with this kid, there's some sort of moment for him to step up, and he does it, and he makes it look easy, right? Like he's not coming in and it's like, wow, this guy is just playing out of his mind, and it just looks like he's on pure adrenaline trying to make all this stuff happen. It's just no, he's just walking out there and he does exactly the job that needs to get done, just each and every time, and he's dependable, and you can just count on him. It's incredible. I've never seen something like that before.
At this age, I mean, you see that kind of thing from players when they've been in the league for a decade, and even then, some of the best players. Wow, she just took the whole thing.
Yeah,
But
right there.
yeah, look at.
There she goes.
Okay, all right. Anyway, Maddie Beniers, amazing. We run out of words for it. Next super chat here from Hibak. Thank you. No text with it here, but thank you, Hibak, for the super chat. Oh, here we go. Another super chat from Hibak. This one with text to it. Avs didn't lose by more than one goal the entire playoffs last year. I think this team is good. What a stat.
That's incredible.
Has somebody tweeted that yet? I'm going to steal that.
I was going to say, go for it, RJ. Go for it. That's absolutely incredible. And I mean, again, it speaks to the depth, because this was, it was a game that was a little bit back and forth. Maybe it wasn't as physical as some of the other playoff games we saw yesterday or even earlier today. The hits maybe weren't as, bone rattling and shattering as some of those other ones. But the bottom line was, this was one where goaltending was going to be important, and it was going to be one where you were going to need goals from unlikely heroes. And again, going back to that depth, talking about unlikely heroes, that's been this entire Kraken team, right? Like we've got McCann and his 40 goals that flies under the radar. Nobody really talks about that, but even that's like an unlikely hero kind of storyline. And I feel like that's really the mentality that this team has had. That's the story of this team, of this Kraken team, and how incredible for that to just carry over into the first round. And I feel like it matches up really, really well with the fact that you are playing the defending Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, I mean, you needed kind of all to coincide there, and it really is. What a stat! I keep thinking about the that they didn't lose by more than one goal all of last season. That's incredible. All right, so we got a big super chat here from Sean. Thank you, Sean. Number 31 wins 3-1. We got the $31 super chat. Love the numbers
Nice.
in there. Grew, let's go streaking. Yeah, could be the start of a big streak. I mean, I think Philip Grubauer, if anyone deserves a big super chat in their honor tonight,
Yeah.
it is Philip Grubauer.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, we've talked about him so much, but like I have no problem talking about him more. I think what was really impressive about it too, RJ, for me is, I mean, he had the excuses to lose composure. I don't think Philip Grubauer has taken that much physical punishment all season long. Right? The amount of times he was run into, slammed into that first time, especially when he was just
Yeah.
completely run into. I mean, I think that was really impressive. And you and I have both seen come playoff time that can get to goalies, even if it doesn't make them, say, afraid to be aggressive in their crease or to stand their ground. Sometimes you'll see with maybe a guy like Jonathan Quick, where all of a sudden his focus shifts from, watching the puck as closely as he needs to making sure that whenever anybody gets close, he's going to give them a little something, something. Right. And Philip Grubauer, none of that, just dialed in start to finish.
Yeah, he's never been one to let that throw him off his game, even though it can get any goalie off their game a little bit. But he responded well to it. I like after he got run into the first time, I think it was Lehkonen who ran into him, and Vince Dunn was right there and just kind of standing over Lehkonen, and he didn't, engage, give him a shove or anything. He didn't want to take a penalty, but you could see him saying something to Lehkonen, making sure, like, was that intentional? I'm watching you, kind of thing. Vince Dunn making sure to take care of him, and I'm sure if you do that again, Lehkonen does that again, yes, Dunn's gonna be all over him.
Yeah, no, I love to see that relationship. I thought the whole D for the Kraken too. I mean, they did a good job of letting Grubauer see a lot of shots. Not really ever do I feel like Grubauer really was having to look through screens or anything like that. Maybe a little bit late when Colorado had the net empty, but still, even on the power plays and stuff, I want to give a shout out to the Kraken defenders because they did a really, really good job in front of him as well.
And that's key. When he can see the puck this season, he's generally stopping it. He has good games, and you can clear that stuff out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Right. Next super chat here from Light. Interesting. This was Ron Francis's first playoff game win as a GM. Canes never got there.
That's true. I mean, I always forget that the kind of Hurricanes, this team that we all think of now with Brindamore and everything was a little bit after him. Like he kind of just laid the foundation for it, and then it came a little bit later. But congrats to Ron Francis. Trust in Ron we trust.
I mean, well deserved. I mean, this is very much due to what he did this past offseason. A lot of people that deserve credit for the Kraken getting to this point, but Ron Francis has got to be near the top or at the top of the list.
Yeah, over under on how many seconds his smile lasted after this win, RJ. I'm going to set it at 3.5 seconds.
I don't know. Maybe he was a little indulgent. It was his first ever. I'll take the over there, but not by much.
Oh, it's so good. Love that guy.
Right. Super chat here from Jay. Thank you, Jay. Game Kraken. Like the chat.
Yes. Jay with the chat. Been there all season. Really
Gotta
appreciate it, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. Yep, been there with us all season. Next super chat here from Nathan. My geeky playoff stud pick off to a hot start. I'm sure is.
That is definitely true, Nathan. You called that one out. I mean, 2 weeks ago, it seems like anyway. You absolutely called that one. And yeah, I mean, Geeky on that second line. I liked that we saw this version of the lineup going into this game, RJ. You and I talked about it a little bit beforehand. This is the one that we wanted. Pay no attention to her trying to bury her treat back there. But a big part of why we liked this lineup was it felt like, look, having Donato center that fourth line doesn't take too much away from what that fourth line's able to do. But Morgan Geeky having size, and that mattered tonight, having that shot, having the playmaking ability that he has. He's like a sneaky good, can hang around in the top six kind of guy. And you totally saw that tonight with that goal.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we all were hoping from Geeky being on that line that we would see. That goal is the perfect example because Geeky, at times, he's got sneaky finishing ability. He's got a pretty good shot. We know he can roof the puck. He can get to those areas and use his body. And of course, Alex Wenberg can take advantage of that bounce he was able to collect behind the net. And Kraken have very few playmakers better than Alex Wenberg. And of course, he's able to find Geeky there. Like when you put Geeky on that second line, and when that first happened, I just tried to imagine things coming together in a best case scenario. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it's incredible. I can't wait for Thursday just to kind of see them roll it back because I think that's going to be really interesting.
Yep.
She's she's totally
Super.
burying the treat. Just eat it
Oh
off,
my
bro.
gosh. They're Kraken have more games. You'll be fine after
I
you can eat
know.
it now. Super chat here from Sergeant Pickles. Instead of coffee, Avs comment sections tomorrow. I will say maybe I'll indulge a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I liked going through the all the beat writers and everything going into this. Talked about that leading into our deep dive that we recorded the series preview for. I've still got all those tabs open. So I can't wait to read what everybody's got to write later tonight and tomorrow morning. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Give me a fun time, I would say. All right, so I think we have reached the end of the super chats, and we're 36 minutes in. That's incredible. 36 minutes, all super chats. I think before we start heading to the regular chats, though, I
Mhm.
know we're not usually good about this, but Dylan, should we plug the merch?
We will plug the merch just because I mean things are off to such an incredible start for the postseason here for the Kraken. Gonna go ahead and throw this one up for everybody there. That is our playoff shirts from the deep. We rise playoffs 2023. We knew we had to do something to commemorate this awesome incredible occasion of the Kraken's first playoff run, and everybody was asking for it. This is it, and it looks beautiful, RJ.
Yeah, I think the artist did a really good job. We got the original sketch. This is actually what we did for our logo and everything too. It's a tried and true method. Got my girlfriend to do the original sketch, kind of with
Yep.
the idea that we're thinking. Gave it to an artist, professional artist, to kind of make it into what it was. I think it turned out really good. I cannot wait till ours arrive.
Mhm.
Shipping get here soon. But yeah, no, that those are on our store right now. I think link to the store is probably in the YouTube description here if you're watching it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, get the shirts. Playoffs 2023 from the deep we rise. I just think it's a cool design. Kraken going to
It's
take the
awesome.
cup off the ship, and they're off to a pretty good start.
Oh yeah, they're totally going for it. It is totally awesome. Yeah, okay. So we got like a mile and a half of comment section here from the 200 plus
Yeah.
people who have been in here all
We'll
night
start with
long.
Michelle
Thank
here.
you
Ordered
so
my
much.
shirt last night. So there you go.
There
Got
we
on it
go.
already. People getting
Definitely.
it there.
Definitely. And, again, another huge shout out to everybody who's been a part of this community, not just here during these post game lives or the people who have listened to it on, Spotify or the podcast apps the next day, the people who told us to put that on the podcast apps the next day so that more people could get involved. It's absolutely been an incredible journey being able to celebrate all this with all of you, to provide a place for everybody to get together and to celebrate these wins as well. Everybody on the Discord tonight, I mean, it was over 100 people online active in that game chat all night long. It was so cool to see. I mean, that's to me is, been just one of the most rewarding and awesome aspects of all this, has just been all of the community stuff. So to be able to share all this with everybody, it means so much. And so I also say all that good stuff. So forgive me if, when I inevitably skip your comment here in chat, just because I can't actually read them all. We would all be here forever, unfortunately. But I love to see them all. And I do kind of go through them the next day, usually on these big long ones. And I promise I will. But I love all the excitement, all the grooves, all the yeses, all the dance party stuff. I mean, I love all of this, RJ. It's so incredible. All the one downs, 15 to goes, the 1-0. I like this from Michael. Let's censored go. I like that. Thank
There's
you
a
for
lot
help.
of that at the beer hall tonight.
I'm sure. Thanks for helping us out. Stay monetized on the chat and everything. Love it. Shoe shot, I'm losing my mind. I can't believe it. Oh my god. Ty, where is Sin? I want to know if you can spell Hellebuck. There we go. Thank you. Thanks, man. Thank you. I love that. I can't believe how well the Kraken played against the Avs in their barn like that. That's how you steal home ice. I mean, absolutely. We talked about it a little bit earlier, RJ, but the bottom line is Kraken have home ice advantage now the rest of the series.
Yeah, I
With an
almost don't
asterisk.
really want. I was gonna say I almost don't really want to talk about that. They've been so good on the road.
It's
Um,
true.
like honestly, I feel good about the road games. It's good to have home ice. It's good to only need to win the games at home. But I think if the
Mhm.
Kraken are finishing off the series and taking care of it, they're getting at least another road win. I think that's just how it's
Yeah.
going to work out given how they've played. But I'm just so happy that they're going to come back to Climate Pledge Arena with the series at least tied. And
Oh yeah.
everyone's going to be hyped for it. The one thing you didn't want was them coming down, here with the series down 2-0, and you got to dig yourself out of a hole. It really puts a damper on that first home game. It really, really does. But don't have to worry about that at all. It's going to be so fun on Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be epic. Epic. I don't use that word often on these, but it will be. Go check yourself. Huge game for the penalty killers in Gru and Wenny. Yes, I mean, we haven't really talked about special teams. I feel like that's the one aspect of this game that we haven't talked a lot about. But the bottom line was this is a very scary Avalanche power play. And you know what? PKers and Grubauer, they did it. Like they kind of handedly did it too. I almost don't want to say too much good things about it and then jinx anything moving forward. But I mean, the PK work from the Kraken tonight was special.
Remember on the series preview, you asked me, is anything else that really scares you about the Avs? And I went straight to the power play. And especially knowing that early on in the playoffs, you will have to face power plays. Almost no matter what you do, the refs are going to call things. And the Kraken PK was up to the task. Really impressively too. I mean, I think Colorado's PK worked really well as well, but that's fine. You take that in this series against the Avs. If it's a wash, you absolutely take that. And yeah, I mean, the PK's just been quietly really good for the second half of the season since they made those adjustments. And I love it. Coaching adjustments from Dave Haxtell. It was great. There was a Colorado reporter that was asking about it this morning. And I think he wasn't aware that the Kraken had kind of changed up their system. And so Haxtell was kind of going back through what they did and when they did it. And it was just great to get that reminder again of the coaching change that they made and how much that helped.
Yeah, and it's huge. I mean, Ty right there, Dave Haxtell, unbelievable adjustments and line matches. I'm so floored. First stud of the game, no doubt in my mind. I mean, Haxtell deserves a lot of credit, not just for the the adjustments and everything, but also the mindset of the team going in there. And I mean, everybody was ready to play this game, and they were ready to come out to start all three periods. That's something that has been a struggle for this Kraken team last year, and it continued into this season. But this team was prepared every time they had to get going. They were there and they got going right when they needed to. And that kind of also rolls into this next one from Striatic. Feels like the Kraken could steal a couple before the Avs knock off the rust and play as a full team. At that point, anything can happen. And I do think that that's one thing we didn't really talk about when we talked about all the Avalanche injured players kind of coming back, was the idea that they all have to get integrated into the lineup for game one of the playoffs. And I think you saw that a little bit with guys like Josh Manson taking that penalty on Donato there, where, you know what? I mean, you haven't been playing hockey in a little while, or you haven't been playing hockey with this guy in the lineup. And I do think that, contributed to why the Avalanche maybe weren't always able to, rely on their defense like they normally do to maybe get the play out of their own end a little bit.
And Cale Makar looking human. I think that's something that we may not see the entirety of the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can come in and get a few games while the Avs are, before they've kind of reintegrated like that, it helps. And I think one thing super impressive, I was thinking about it before the game, didn't tweet it, didn't want to put the bad vibes out there, but this is the first time the Kraken have ever won after a 4 or more day break. They had
my gosh.
no wins, 5 losses, or 7 losses if you count season openers in games where they hadn't played 4 days beforehand. So I was feeling a little nervous just because of that. And I think it kind of had the opposite effect. I think if anything, the Avs were a little bit more off.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and definitely with Cale Makar. I mean, the skating is just not there. Whatever lower body injury is, it's still clearly hampering him. But yeah,
sorry, go ahead. Oh, I thought you were going to read another comment because we have another super chat here I want to get to real quickly from Sergeant Pickles. Gotta go. Need an hour to wind down. Woo! See you there, Sergeant Pickles. Thank you so much for joining us. Just wanted to get that in there, before you headed out.
Definitely. Say bye, Afra. There you go. She's over there somewhere. There we go. Sneak her in. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many good things to talk about with this one. Lindsay, I simply can't believe it. Wenberg shooting the puck and scoring. The expansion team beating the defending champs in game 1. The waiver wire pickup opening the scoring. No words, just happy. I mean, that was the big thing, like, especially on the Discord when Tolvanen kicks off the scoring to start this game. It was just like, from Nashville to us, from waivers to the playoffs. Like, it's just an incredible story. And to have that to just get the game going, it was awesome.
Yeah, what a storyline. I mean, there are so many good stories depending on who scored, the first ever Kraken playoff goal, but to have it be Ellie Tolvanen, the guy they scooped up off waivers, just continuing that. I love to see it. And also, here we go. Sergeant Pickles, bye, Afra. There we go. Glad you got to see it. Say bye to Afra.
Oh, perfect. Leanne, I admit that I played Candy Crush for most of the third period because I was too nervous to look at the screen. I'm absolutely bursting with pride. Take that, ESPN talking heads. I mean, look, it was a lot, RJ. That first period, especially, just watching a Kraken playoff game after watching previous playoff games to kind of like get in the mood, so to speak, and then like that last 40 minutes waiting for the game to start with the delay and everything. It was just so much, and that first period just flew by for me. I don't know about you, but it was surreal.
It was, and I definitely got into playoff mode yesterday. I stayed up. I was trying to be quiet in bed. My girlfriend had to get up early for work, so I was trying not to make too much noise. But you had the two playoff overtime games,
Yes.
with Minnesota winning and then LA winning. It was hard to stay quiet, but I was very much in playoff mode all day today. And so then to see the Kraken be part of that, yeah, it was surreal.
Yeah. Cody with some studs here. Pressure on all the Avs lines. Kraken stick play. Philip freaking Grubauer duds. The second period slop. Yeah, so there was a little bit of time. And you know what? That's fair, right? The odds of you going any NHL game, much less one in the Stanley Cup playoffs, for a full 60 dominating, it doesn't happen very often unless you're playing against the Coyotes. But the Kraken survived, and Grubauer was there for when they needed him. And that's something that I don't know that we could have said reliably about this team really ever.
Right, and when you get into moments like that where you are kind of on the ropes, you need goaltending, and especially in the playoffs. And you see the difference between teams that win playoff series and teams that lose playoff series. You're always going to have times like that where yes, it gets a little bit sloppy. Yes, you have some chances against you, but can your goalie bail you out from those? That
Right.
is the difference between winners and losers
Yep.
in a playoff series where it's a small sample size. Um, and the Kraken had that tonight. And that was a big question going into the series of whether they would have that at all. So love to see it. Really hope it continues.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Love this from Kyle. I'm a Wenberg pass truther. I love it.
uh,
X. Oh, this is awesome too. X Kid Z. T-Mobile Park showing highlights of the game during the Mariners game and everyone cheering. Love it. I mean, that's the other aspect of when the series comes back to Seattle on Saturday, RJ, is Seattle, incredible sports city. We've known this. We talked about this. Obviously, most people live up there or are from there. We all know that firsthand. Now get to experience playoff hockey, and again, national audience is going to get to see that when this series comes back to Seattle. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I think people are starting to take notice. Certainly after game one. I mean, that's the ultimate warning shot. Not even warning shot, but just let everyone know the Kraken are here. And yeah, you've already seen that in Seattle, though. I mean, everybody's on board. I got the chance because they were Sports Radio KJR was doing their radio broadcast earlier at the beer hall, and so got to talk to Softy, got to talk to Dick, got to talk to Ian Furness, and yeah, they are well aware that Seattle. Hey, they want to hear hockey talk right now. They can leave the Mariners for a little bit later. They can leave, the NFL draft talk with the Seahawks having a high pick. People want to hear hockey right now. And it's great to see that people just who are the general sports radio area, they recognize that.
Yeah, and that's something else that, we were gonna kind of save it for like maybe a thank you video or something for when the season's over. But thank you everybody. I talked all about the community and all that we've done here. So much of the growth that we've experienced this year, and so all the new faces that we've gotten to meet and get to know, all because of the word of mouth from all of you, who are here from year one, bleeding over into year two. It's been absolutely incredible. As you said earlier, RJ, we're not the best self promoters out there. We really
Yeah.
aren't. But we've grown like 5x this year, everybody, across a lot of different metrics and stuff. And so I do want to take a moment to thank you all, not just for being here, but also the incredible work you've done telling friends and family and other Kraken fans to also be here with us. It's been really, really special, and I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, telling everyone it really makes a huge difference for us. And I We got a super chat here, and I mean, you talked about all the wonderful people in the community. Glad to see a super chat from you here, Brian.
Yes.
NHL history tonight. It was the 5th time an expansion team's playoff debut was against the defending Stanley Cup champion, but it's the first time in history the expansion team won game 1. I heard the first half of that stat before. I did not realize the Cup champs were undefeated until tonight. That's incredible.
That is so awesome. I mean, this team already has been making history throughout this year, whether it's the expansion team glow up from year 1 to year 2. Can't wait to hear everybody eviscerate me in chat for that. Or the road game win streaks or any of this kind of stuff. But to add that to just all the history that they've already made this year, oh, that's incredible. I mean, it goes to show one more time how special this team is and how unfortunate maybe the rest of the hockey world isn't getting to pay attention and experience that too.
So many great milestones. I mean, hey, if we were the Predators, we would have a banner after this season that would just stretch all the way down to the ice.
Yes. No, are you kidding? They'd make it would be like a ring around the top.
There you go.
Just keep riding side. It'd be the widest banner in history, and then thered be a second banner to proclaim the widest banner in history.
Yeah, but we're in Seattle, so we're chill about it.
Yeah, exactly. I like this too. I like that. I think that's the most elevated shot I've ever seen Winberg take. Definitely.
Georgiev was not. Look at how awkward Georgiev was trying to prepare for that shot too. He was just kind of like this. He didn't really know what to do. No. I think he was as confused as all of us.
I think Alexander Wenberg's the only NHL player that if I was in net having to defend against NHL players, I'd be like, okay, maybe I can not totally freak out right now in this moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. You're like, all right, where are his teammates?
Yeah, let me make sure I've got this other person over here. So yeah, I totally get that.
All right, got another super chat here from James. Can't emphasize enough how well I think the Kraken took the first punch from the Avs in the first. After the Colorado answer goal, their crowd was loud. Wasn't very loud after that the rest of the night. And yet the Avs did kind of punch back. They had that They had that goal to tie the game, and then they had a couple really good shifts after, and you felt like the tide was turning. But the Kraken weathered that storm.
Yeah, they did. And, again, I want to give credit to Dave Haxtell. The team did a great job getting to the intermissions, and then Haxtell and the coaching staff and the leaders on the team did a great job coming out of those intermissions. And I felt like they did a better job than Colorado did throughout this game, coming out of those intermissions and kind of both for the first and second. It just incredible and not something that I expected, right? We talked about things. We talked about the depth maybe being a problem for Colorado. We talked about Philip Grubauer maybe being an issue here, but I did not expect that the Kraken were going to be the team that could weather a storm, get to a break, and then come out hot and ready to go for that next period, just because that's not really been the identity for this team. So again, if you're going to add in a 971 save percentage from Grubauer, and you're going to add in the fact that this team's ready to go to start each and every period, I mean, the sky's the limit for this group.
Yeah, it goes a long way getting that goaltending, and I like how you mentioned, they got to the intermission, they came out hot and ready like a Little Caesars pizza to face the Avs in the second period.
Hey, Morgan Geeky scored tonight. We can only talk about Pizza Hut.
Fair enough. That is true.
That's the way it goes. Tom, most nervous I've ever been watching a hockey game, and it's only game 1. I know, RJ. I mean, I talked about how nervous I was leading up to the game, that first period and everything. Whenever this gets to an elimination game, whether it's the Kraken going to eliminate the Avalanche or vice versa, how are we supposed to watch it? I was having to physically consciously remind myself to breathe.
I know the game. There is some comfort in tonight's that the game. There was at least 3 more games left in the series. When you get into elimination territory, it gets scary. I'm not ready for it, especially given that Gabe. I mean, well, if Game 4 is an elimination game in Seattle, then we'll be very happy. I'm not expecting that, but I was like, Game 6 certainly could be. I'm trying to think of ones that could be at home, or I'd have to be in the building watching it. But man, we are going to see that at some point in the series.
Yeah.
That we will get there. I'm not entirely mentally prepared for it.
I know. I just try to stay present. Everybody take the Matty Beniers approach. Just enjoy this for the rest of tonight. Enjoy it all day tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. Trips. The Talking Heads could put their brooms away. Our boys came to play for sure. Emmy Chan, I didn't realize Makar was playing in the game 90% of the time. it's kind of true. It's the quietest I've ever seen Cale Makar. That's a real problem for Colorado. Kraken only NHL team undefeated all time in the playoffs. Joey there. Yep. Gonna have that for at least, another 36, 40 hours or whatever it's gonna be.
Yep. I have some breaking news here, Dylan. So we talked about the whole 16, the Kraken have a playoff puck board.
They do.
That is in the away locker room with them, and they I guess Philip Grubauer got the Davy Jones hat and then gets to place that first puck on the board. Yep.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So happy for him. That's got to feel so incredible to do that first one in franchise history too. Like,
yeah,
he deserves it. He deserves it.
And with the Colorado Avalanche logo on the puck.
Yep. Exactly.
It's in Colorado.
That is
I got
cool.
super chat here from Jay. Well, a storm doesn't mean much when you're in the depths. I mean, hey, the storm's just above one. Not concerning.
No.
Kraken.
No, and you know what? Avalanche runs off into the water. I mean, it just adds more sea, more depths. I don't know.
We tried the Kraken.
We tried so hard, everybody, with the merch stuff to try to come up with some idea of a Kraken versus an Avalanche. It just doesn't work.
It really doesn't. We tried. We really did.
For the hashtag, for everything, there's not a lot there. I was putting all my screenwriting brain to use, and I just could not come up with anything. Rebecca, I had two friends bandwagon watching tonight, and they were so impressed with the Kraken. I kept getting texts like, that PK and Gru, it's so sweet. For sure, I feel like this has been another big moment for the Kraken. Playoff time comes, and when you are in a sports city, whether it's Seattle or somewhere else, right, the attention does kind of have to shift to the teams that are playing well and the teams that are in playoff time versus the ones early in a regular season, all that kind of stuff, because that's just naturally how it has to go. And so I do think that there was a lot of people that have maybe loosely been following the Kraken, maybe been a little bit interested, but haven't totally taken that plunge into the depths. I'll keep with the narrative there. But you do it for the playoffs, because playoffs are something where it's like, okay, I can really focus in on this. This team's good. They're in the playoffs. I understand what that means as a sports fan. And then you watch this game tonight, you're ready for the rest of this playoffs, and you're probably at some point going and picking up a reverse retro Matty Beniers jersey.
Probably. And it's, it's going to be on sale, but there's going to be a lot more hockey fans made in the next couple weeks for sure. And that's part of what made me so excited about playoff hockey coming to Seattle in this series, is that no matter what, you're going to get a bunch of new eyes on the sport, a bunch of people who will get to fall in love with the sport, just like so many of you in chat have, over these last couple of years since the Kraken, have come into being. And we just get to see lots more of that. And that's my favorite part about hockey, is just new people getting into it, helping them, learn the sport and enjoy what we all enjoy so much.
Yep, sharing that passion. It's awesome. Steve Dog, Kraken really looked like they made the physicality count, stopping breakaways and creating turnovers. Love to see this next gear out of them. Yes, RJ, they won the hit battle, 40 hits for the Seattle Kraken in this game. I mean, we talked about you got to be physical in the playoffs. Kraken took that to heart. 23 blocked shots too. Like, again, talking about helping out Grubauer. I mean, that's something that's frustrating for the Avalanche too. You line up a perfect play, you get that pass inside of the guy in the slot, you take that shot and it's just blocked, right? Like, that's almost worse than the goaltender making the save. Like, oh, it didn't even get to him. And I feel like that really made an impact.
It's frustrating at all levels of hockey when you have a shot that's just blocked, doesn't even get to the net. And when it happens over and over again, especially when you're losing and trying to get pucks through and trying to generate chances, it really adds up. So shot blocks are huge. And that's something the players mentioned to me a lot too. Is in the playoffs, I think we heard it from Tolvanen, heard it from Matty Beniers, heard it from everyone. It seems like a shot block isn't just a shot block. It's also a way to be engaged in the game and show your teammates too that you're all part of this as a group. It's something that collectively you engage in to be hard to play against as a team. And I mean, hey, the Kraken, to a man, they are a team that wants to block shots, that wants to get in front of pucks, and it's going to be tough to play against.
Oh, definitely. I know we're coming up on the hour here, but I'm not stopping this thing anytime soon with 180 people in here at all. Jeremy Playoff Grubauer is just built different. He is, and I'm glad that we're getting to see him now. It is so awesome. Love to see that. Nathan Avs had no response for Kraken bottom 6. If Kraken top lines can continue to hold the Avs top line to 1 to 2 goals, this could be dangerous. I agree. I mean, that's really where it's at. If you know, figure, okay, Cale Makar, McKinnon, Rantanen, they're going to be good for 1 a game, right? If you just kind of make that in your head. But if we hold everybody else, you hold the Evan Rodriguez's, the JT Compher's, all that, Nichushkin to less than that, you're set. And how about that too? I mean, we talked about this. I mean, we both wanted originally to make JT Compher the X factor for the Avalanche. Compher's line with Lankinen and Nichushkin -2 tonight for the Avs. They did not do what they were supposed to.
No, they didn't. And this is, I want to kind of go into Sean's comment in chat here too, because I think it relates. RJ and Dylan would like to hear more about the Avs coaching decisions on home ice line matching against the Kraken's depth, because I don't think Bednar handled it all that well. And I think you've got it starting from the starting lineup, where the Kraken put out the Yanni Gourde line and the Avs countered with the McKinnon line. And they kind of stuck with that most of the game. And I was thinking, we talked about it on the podcast, if I was Dave Haxtell, that's the matchup I want. I don't know why Bednar was going to that. Personally. But I think they might change it up a little bit for game 2, but I think it's a good data point for the Kraken, knowing what works. I mean, I might stick with the matchups they got most of the game tonight.
Yeah, I would. If you're the Kraken, why wouldn't you? I mean, the game played out pretty perfectly for you for the most part, outside of, a couple minute stretches here and there throughout. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Bednar just kept going back to that well. You and I, we're not the biggest of fans, kind of infamously last year. Obviously, that didn't go great for us. But the bottom line is, this is the kind of stuff that we talk about when we talk about Jared Bednar and us kind of questioning some of the coaching decisions that he does make. I think he's a good motivator. I think he knows that team really well. He knows how to push those guys. But when it comes to things like the line matches, that's where we've always had questions about him. And tonight certainly adds to that. But yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what he comes out with next game.
I know I'm looking forward to seeing it, but he's going to have to make some adjustments. But it's just good to know when you get the home ice, you can kind of get these matchups again if you want them.
Definitely. I know we got let's see, another super chat here. It looks like down at the bottom. Trying to get there. Hold on. So much from Jules. Thank you very much, Jules. With this Kraken season and making the playoffs, it's a big boost for growing the fan base. Also, the Kraken marketing team is doing fantastic. It's my major. They have been doing a fantastic job. They've been doing a great job all throughout the history of this team. I feel like they've done a really good job of kind of creating an overall aesthetic, a game day experience, right? Like all of those kinds of things. I loved that kind of playoff like primer thing that they put on Twitter. That image that was like largely blue, and then it kind of had that like using the negative space and the white pencil work. That kind of like intricate looking mountain in there thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it. I don't know the art terms. My sister can yell at me later about it. But I thought that was really dope. I love that aesthetic. I love everything they've been doing.
Yeah, it's been great. And there were people from the Kraken at the beer hall tonight too, because of their partnership with the Anchor Alliance. You had a lot of Kraken presence there as well. And so, I mean, they know how to put on a good time. The beer hall knows how to put on a good time. And it was great to see them working together too. I mean, they are really doing their job to get out in the community, get everybody excited about playoff hockey and kind of cultivating this brand.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I just like chose a random place to go back into chat here because there's just so much of it.
Yeah.
Daniel, OMG, people are shooting off fireworks here in Lake Stevens just like after the Seahawks games. Kraken have arrived. That's all we needed to know right there, is that they got fireworks at Lake Stevens.
Wow, that's awesome.
I was gonna say, as you and I both come from Southern California, the idea of lighting off fireworks for really any occasion is like, what? But I do know from going up there and spending, almost yearly for most of my life, 4th of July is up in Washington. Not the same issues as we had to deal with down here when it comes to fire.
Yeah, not quite as dry up here this time of year.
Oh man. All right, here we go. Edward got some nice wordplay going as usual. Bunch of empty cereal bowls in Seattle locker room because the Kraken finished their checks.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
That's a really good one. Like that's one. If we were print journalists, RJ,
Be all over that.
I would steal that and I would shamelessly put that into one of my things. Another one from Edward. Game 3 is going to be like a planter's factory. Totally nuts. Just keep
This
them
is
coming
great. Oh man.
every time. I love it. Every time I love it. Someone else earlier, I saw it and I can't find it again because of how many chats there were. I'm trying to find it because I want to give credit. But it was about someone checked the box score and saw that Daniel Sprong tied Brandon Tanev for most hits amongst the forwards, RJ. Want to talk
Ooh,
about
okay.
Spronger? Like we talked about him, heating up, maybe being a playmaker. We were all caught off guard by his playmaking. Now do we have to get caught off guard by his power forwardness?
Oh boy, I can't afford to ask him another question where it seems like I'm doubting something he can do. But I mean, it's interesting because he's got that size, right? I mean, he's fairly solidly built, but you don't think of him as somebody who's going out there and finishing checks and laying the body on people. But it's something he is capable of bringing, and especially. I'm surprised to see that too, given that that he's maybe dealing with an injury. We don't know exactly what it is, but he wasn't a given to play tonight. So I'm sure he is dealing with something, but I mean, he didn't hold back at all.
No, and I felt like he was one of those guys that was making a difference, but in a different way. He wasn't, the dynamic offensive threat that we're used to seeing from him. He wasn't as involved in the cycle and the limited minutes that he got. Really, outside of the power plays, he didn't play that much at all. 5-on-5. I don't know how much of that is a coaching decision versus, as you said, we don't know what his injury status is. So maybe they're just trying to shelter him a little bit with the minutes there. But for him to go out there and use his body that way when he's not feeling 100% and he's only getting limited ice time, it says a lot about the player that he has become this year in Seattle, especially. And so I do think that it's worth talking about.
Yeah.
Wood, lots of emotion tonight. Thank you, ECH, for helping me learn this beautiful sport. So there we go, talking about what we love doing earlier. Love to see that.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Daniel, their YouTuber guys were just giving excuse after excuse for why the regular season games were so close, back-to-backs, health, etc. They've got no excuses for tonight. No, none. They can't say anything.
Yeah, I was convinced by those regular season games. I know, there's the factor this, but it seemed like you didn't get a whole lot less than the Avs' full effort in those.
Yeah. X-Kid Z, that intro before the game made me feel like the 1917 Metropolitans were with the Kraken in spirit. This is one of the things I have to go back and watch it because with the ESPN and the game being flexed over to ESPNU for me because I'm out of market, so I didn't have the root broadcast. I missed it. I didn't get to see it. I saw everybody on the Discord was like, wow, this is like the most incredible thing. And I'm like, I'm trying to find it amongst all the college softball. I'm trying.
I know. How'd that softball game go, Dylan? I was stuck on that for a little bit too.
Oh man. So I that's one of the things I want to go and watch, whenever we end the stream here, just because I heard how incredible it was. But yeah, I'm super happy that they did that. And I'm super, it's true. I mean, again, anytime you can bring in that history of Seattle and hockey, and the history that they have, I think that that's really important. And I think it's something that a lot of hockey fans across the world and across all the other NHL markets don't really know about. And I think it's one of those things that if they did, they might look at us all a little bit different too. And that's something that I want.
Yeah. And this is the time for them to learn. This is when everyone's paying attention. So I love the timing of it.
Yep. Rebecca, I'm curious / worried to see how the Avs adjust, but for now, I'll just take this giant W. I mean, we talked about the fact that they need to adjust. I mean, are you expecting anything? Like, does anything kind of stand out to you as an adjustment you think they'll make?
I mean, I would change the line matchups for sure. I mean, you did want to get, if I'm Bednar, I want to get the McKinnon line away from the Gord line as much as I possibly can. And they seem to lean into that tonight, and I certainly wouldn't do that. So we'll start there. I think there's a couple more things, maybe on the power play that I would change as well. Try a few different things movement wise, but yeah, I think we'll see some adjustments from them. First and foremost, being the lines.
Yeah, that's really the big one that I can think about, because otherwise, play better. Like, I don't
I
know
mean,
what you're
that,
supposed to do. You can't add depth to your team magically, right? Make your bottom six as good as the Krakens. You just can't do that.
yeah, make Kale McCarr superhuman again
Yeah.
somehow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just give him whatever BioSteel flavor he liked last season. Just start pumping it into
Yeah.
him.
Super
Daniel.
chat here from
Oh,
Jay. Just quick, I have to go. Thanks for the chat, Dylan RJ. Thank you so much for joining us, Jay. And for so many other post games this season. Glad to have you here. As we approach the hour and 10-minute mark, still with 168 in here. I think that by itself, 173 now, would have been a record anyway. It's
yes.
incredible.
No, it's been totally awesome. Thanks again, Jay. Daniel, the last time a defending champion came in to play a Seattle team in the playoffs, we dropped the Beast Quake on their ass. I'm telling you, RJ, you gotta get ready.
I know Todd Lywicki, because he did a media availability
Yes.
right before the practice. He did reference a seismic event, that could happen come game 3. He was there for the Beastquake. He knows what can happen in the city when the fans get really excited. I'm worried about the press bridge, Dylan, to be honest.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that thought into your head. I apologize. I didn't mean to.
Everyone, like, go crazy, create the seismic event. Just I mean, warn me ahead of, I don't know. I got to keep my water off the edge of the ledge.
Yes. Don't want to give anybody a shower.
Maybe close my laptop down or something as soon as the goal is scored that sets it off. I don't know. I've got to make sure I'm prepared.
I was gonna say, anybody, if you feel like it, the building really gets rocking, just feel free to point your cameras up there, try to find RJ, see him holding on to your life there.
You'll find me. Maybe with the seasickness bands on too. I might need those.
I promise. Whoever gets that shot, I will put it on a t-shirt.
He will, and he will wear it.
Yep. Oh man. Fusion Mix. I love how the ESPN crew slowly became impressed by the Kraken. Like, after hyping up the Avs, their growing admiration and bewilderment was so good. Sports movie narrative can't write it any better. It's very, very true. That is totally how this game went. They came in with the narrative of, this is Colorado. They're opening their Stanley Cup defense, all that kind of stuff. They're against this plucky young upstart team. And then as the game gets going, you got Tolvanen scoring that goal. And they talk about him and the journey coming from Nashville. But then Rantanen gets it back. And you're like, all right, this is what it'll be, kind of thing, right? The intermission ESPN crew just had nothing on the Kraken. You could just tell they had like no research on them. But then that second period gets going. You get Wenberg scoring a minute 20 in and all that good stuff. And the bottom line is, by the end, they were only saying good things about the Kraken. That's just all they could talk about was the Avs, inefficiencies and the Kraken being good. And that's I've been waiting all year for it, RJ.
You gotta force their hand. That's what it takes.
It really does. It shouldn't take all that, but it does sometimes, unfortunately. Yeah. I love no
Gino
matter
here. I sit right beneath the press bridge. Don't spill drinks on me, RJ. I will try.
Oh man. No matter how deep in chat I go, I just keep seeing things about, hey, where's Sin City? I love it. I'm gonna have to go through tomorrow and just take like a picture of all of those and then see if I could like find them on Twitter or something, send it to them. Just we missed you, bud.
Love it. Oh, when they do show up next, it's gonna be fun.
Yes. Oh my Seattle. Now that's a first impression from Samuel. It is. I mean, I love it. I've seen a couple people in here that are from out of market congratulating the Kraken on their first win and everything. And that's what we've been talking about kind of all night, is the fact that this is the thing. This is going to be that moment that will really, for a lot of people, put the Kraken on the map. Is hey, you made it to the playoffs, and you're winning in the playoffs. You're beating a team like Colorado. That is the thing that will finally open a lot of people's eyes to what this team can be.
Yeah, and there's no asterisks to it. There's no excuses you can really make. It's the defending champs, and that's why one other reason I'm so eager about this series is because everything you accomplish, you can't question it. You can't write off this opponent. I mean, they just won the Stanley Cup the previous year, and it forces people to pay attention.
Yeah, definitely. CR Bud, did anybody feel like the Avs tried to bully the Kraken and the boys never folded? I mean, I would say yes, but at the same time, I mean, Kraken massively out hit them. So I think if anybody was doing any bullying, it was the Kraken, as they were just laugh. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think the physical battle thankfully didn't gain a ton of traction in this game. I think the Kraken maybe even had the better end of it, but I don't know. Maybe it was after watching that Dallas Minnesota game last night where I'm like, okay, that's what real bullying is.
Mhm.
But I think it's to the Kraken's advantage that this didn't get too nasty yet tonight. In
Yeah.
general, I think it could get for the playoffs a lot worse. I think if you start to get a series lead and the Avs really get frustrated, you might start to see that. But for the time being, if you can just play your game and the Avs can't really respond, I think there's no reason for this to be anything but peaceful, and that'll benefit the Kraken.
Yeah, I agree. And the bottom line is we also know Kraken, they're a 5v5 team. Right? Special teams. I mean, the PK has made great strides. They played fantastic tonight, but I still think the more time you spend 5-on-5, the more it favors the Kraken and the more it hampers what the Avalanche are trying to do there. And also, if you're the Kraken, I have never more so than tonight, RJ wanted to decline penalties.
I
Power
know.
play was rough.
It was. I mean, the Avs' pressure too on the puck carrier was suffocating, and you were worried about chances maybe going back the other way. I mean, they can put a lot of pressure on you on the PK. They've got the skill to do it. They've got the players to do it. The Kraken just had no time and space to think or set up.
No, they really didn't. One of the interesting things, just as I'm like looking at the box score here, RJ, is and they mentioned it on the ESPN broadcast. Nathan MacKinnon had 7 shots on goal. I believe that watching it, he clearly wanted this game. That was something I was worried about, given he had that hat trick in the last regular season game. Evan Rodriguez had 6 shots on goal. He was pretty noticeable in this one. Like he was the only little bit of depth that the Avalanche kind of seemed to have out there. And then interestingly, care to guess who was third on the Avalanche in shots on goal behind those two?
Uh, all right, someone maybe off the board a little bit.
A little bit.
Um, I know it's not Josh Manson. I was
Is
like,
that
that'd be way off the board.
No, I'm going to tell everybody this though. Okay.
Yeah.
Josh Manson, he's going to take a penalty a game. This is what he does, but just know at some point during this series, he's going to score a goal with like 3 minutes left in the game to put the Avalanche up by 1. It's just what he does every playoff series. He's going to give us a bunch of power plays, but then he's just going to take it all back with one clutch goal. It sucks, but that's who he is.
Yeah, I mean that the book on him there. I don't know. Was it Nichushkin?
It was Bo and Byram.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
he was apparently the answer to the offense on the back end for the Avalanche. So kind of interesting thing to pay attention to there, especially with their second unit with the featuring the 3 defensemen. Uh,
Right. Well, I guess throwing pucks on net beats throwing a stick at a coach. Tell
wow.
me you heard
Yes.
about that, Dylan.
Yes, I did. That was good. I just wasn't expecting it. That was really awesome. Ty Tolby did way more than score. That line set the tone and played insanely physical. Wenberg also huge in the defensive zone, paired up with an absolute laser of a goal. I mean, I don't think enough can be talked about with that Yanni Gord line tonight. So, I mean, just so much involved with it. I think that's going to be one that, when Colorado is watching back tape of this game, they're just going to go, what? What do we do?
Right. The Gord line was a real problem for Colorado. This is everything I hoped for when we were on the podcast previewing this series. And I was saying I really wanted the Gord line to go against the MacKinnon line. And you got to do your best on the best. This was the dream scenario tonight. And I think the Avs were frustrated by it.
Yeah, it was clear that they were frustrated by it. They had no idea how to handle it or really anything related to that. It's so cool. Let's see. Great for us to get playoff experience. I think as the series goes along, we'll get more and more confident. I agree, Joey. And I think that confidence is going to be huge for this group. We talked about, they have some of the experience and everything, but I think they already were confident. It sounded like they were pretty confident. All the stuff that you were talking about from those practices right before they left town. Obviously, we also talked about the decisions of leaving town and everything. It was all perfect. Team knew what they were doing, definitely.
No questioning that.
Again, trust all of you for sure. Just gonna mention that one more time. But yeah, I think that this is a group that they know they're road warriors. So certainly for Thursday anyway, that confidence is going to be there. I think the big one is going to be coming home, just because they have struggled with that so much this season.
Yeah, it feels weird to say that might be a worry factor for them. But yeah, coming home, it's going to be a new challenge. I got to go to the bottom of the chat here. McKinnon, when asked, what did you see out of Grubauer after the game, his reply was nothing. And then the eye roll emoji there for the response. I think he was just referring to, like, the net that he had to shoot at. Just there was nothing there. There was no net to shoot at.
I think that has to be what he means, because I mean the Kraken did a good job there. I mean, Grubauer was big. I'm looking at it. Cale Makar, he had 3 shots on goal. That's it. Despite the fact that he played 26 minutes, which is it's a lot. I don't. They're gonna run him into the ground at that rate. Good stuff there. Let's see. What do you guys think of the power play? Very surprising to see McCann on there. Otherwise, from Bazzi there, it wasn't good. We kind of talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that it seems like they didn't elevate for the playoffs was the power play.
Yeah, there's still some time on that, but yeah, I wasn't counting on it. But hey, if you can just keep the game to 5-on-5, have a good PK, you don't need it.
Is this an actual quote from Grubauer from George here in chat? They wrote me off. I didn't write back though.
Oh no, he's paraphrasing the quote from was that let's see, was that Geno Smith? Who was it? Wrote me off. I didn't write back. Do I have? Yeah, it was Geno Smith. Yeah, they wrote me off. I ain't right back though. It was paraphrasing from Geno Smith this season, which is a great quote by the way.
Oh yeah, it's insane. It's awesome. I love it. Joey, wow, would have been great if Berkey returned against former team. Shows how good we are to lose our best offensive player and dominate the champs. I mean, best offensive player. We still talking about that after McCann got to 40 goals. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, it would be cool if Berkey was able to get back out there against the Avalanche. It's an unfortunate situation there, but again, just another chance to talk about Morgan Geekie. While he's still barely holding on to that Mario Kart crown, going out there and picking up a playoff goal before Matty Beniers. So,
Yeah, who's the real winner there? Maybe that's a Mario Kart chirp that's used mid-race. I don't know. Maybe we'll see that. But yeah, Geeky gets his first playoff goal before Matty Beniers. And I see everyone in the chat. Geno Smith, come on, RJ. Geno Smith. I had the right instinct. I just had journalist brain that was make sure you get this right 100% because you don't want to get it wrong.
Triple check the sources all the time. Yep. Definitely. Let's see here. I mean, there's a ton of these. Justin, usually I listen to these on Spotify when I should be working, but I had to stay up for playoffs. Love it, appreciate it, Justin. And yeah, I think that's what we all do, right? We listen to podcasts instead of work. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Ayers, what are the chances Jerry Bruckheimer makes a movie out of this season with the Kraken?
Depends how far they go.
It really does depend on how far they go. I think
it's in the team's hands.
I was gonna say it's in the team's hands. It's an interesting one. You don't often see Hollywood style movies like recreations or adaptations of real life off of things like that. I don't know that we would see that, but a documentary I would hope has been in the works for a while now, or certainly for all the playoffs. I mean, ESPN now is the one in charge of it, but they have cameras in all the rooms. They're getting plenty of behind the scenes footage and all that kind of stuff. I would love though for the Kraken to do like a behind the scenes show or something like that, RJ.
Yeah, that'd be real fun.
I want that. Like that All or Nothing the Leafs did a while back. That was, I mean, it was good. It shows why the Leafs struggle and they have games like this tonight with Sheldon Keefe as their coach. But at the same time, I want that access with the Kraken because I want to see the Mario Kart.
I know. And there's a lot of great stuff that I just see kind of behind the scenes or whatever that I know those cameras would capture that, I can't have my camera running all the time in the locker room or whatever, but they could get stuff that the rest of the media couldn't. And I would support it despite the fact that I might get caught in the background of some things sometimes, which I would not like. But yeah, I'll take it. And I want to do this one, just quickly answer this question from Jeremy toward the bottom of chat. Are either of y'all going to be at the game Saturday in Seattle? So yes, I will be at the game Saturday. I'll be at both games 3 and 4. And then also just quickly want to plug on Thursday for game 2, I will be back at Queen Anne Beer Hall. Again, they're going to have another huge event. We're going to do some more giveaways, some more Kraken trivia. KJR is going to be there with their radio show before the game too. Lots of fun stuff. If you can, come out to the beer hall on Thursday. Come say hi. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we might not always remember to rep ourselves, but for the most part, we remember to rep our sponsor.
There we go. That's what we say at the sponsor pitch meeting in the off season.
We do. We show up, and that's what we say. Joey, only one ESPN writer picked Kraken over Avalanche. Who was
I
it?
saw that. It was a long list of writers too. It was
I
one out
know.
of like 30. So yeah.
Do you know who it was?
Oh man, I don't remember the name offhand. I looked it up
Well, I was gonna
earlier.
say, well, that means it wasn't like a Wyshynski, and it wasn't like Ryan or anybody.
No, it wasn't one of the. I had not heard of the writer before.
All right. Well, that writer deserves a lot.
Yep. Tried to find him
Everybody.
on Twitter, but couldn't.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fusion Mix. How many sizes of the Grubauer and Tolvanen sweaters will be out of stock in the NHL shop by tomorrow? Well, a lot. A
Yep.
lot. Yes. Let's see. From Leaf here. Sad to report that the Avs comment section on Reddit is not that depressed. Lots of Kraken, we're lucky, we're still winning this, no problem stuff. Hopefully after game 2, it's a different tune. I mean, look, there's an element of me that is like, good. It's good. They're standing behind their team. You got to do that kind of thing. They're
Yeah.
not like this overreacting impassioned fan base kind of stuff. But at the same time, I also have to wonder how much of that is them trying to talk themselves into that as they're typing it out.
I think there's a good deal of that. Yeah, putting myself in that mindset, imagining a few years in the future, the Kraken win a cup, they come back the next season, they lose game 1 to an underdog. I'd like to think we'd still be confident.
Yeah, me too. We'll do a last call kind of thing, final thing here towards the end of chat for everybody who's still hanging around, for the 140 who are still hanging around here, because then I think we are going to have to end this kind of soon here. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much, RJ. It's been so fantastic, and on top of all that, we got the win. like I've just been so like into doing all this with everybody in the community here, and all throughout the game on Discord and everything. But like, oh yeah, the Kraken won too. Like I still get to think about that.
Yeah. All right, so here, Viharan in here with the ESPN, right? Yeah, Sachin Chandan with Kraken in 7. That's the one I recognize. And I guess maybe there was another one, Blake Bolden, Kraken in 6.
All right, well, everybody's got to go give them some love because they believed. that's
Yep.
big deal, and apparently they know what's up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Get another plug in here, by the way. So got to join our bracket challenge, NHL bracket challenge.
Yeah,
if you
there's still
haven't
time.
already, there is still time. Up until the start of tomorrow's games, you can still submit and edit a bracket. So you get the one game of information first. So you can go change all those Abs picks to Kraken picks if you want to go do that. But yeah, go join our bracket challenge. Winner gets some major bragging rights in the ECH community and a cool prize that we will announce later. But yeah, go fill out your brackets. It's a fun time. Doesn't take much time. 5 minutes, set it, forget it. Or pay attention to it if you want as the playoffs go along. But yeah, join our bracket challenge. It is Emerald City Hockey. You can just go to NHL, just search NHL Bracket Challenge. It'll be through NHL.com. You can search the bracket name. It is Emerald City Hockey. So go join, everybody, if you haven't already.
Yeah, I was like the last person to do it before the games kicked off yesterday, because that's how I roll, And I was the 158th person in there, which is incredible that so many people are in there. And then I went and I checked to see like all the teams that are doing one. There's also a Kraken team one that you can enter to try to win like a signed jersey with everybody on the team. You can just port over that same bracket if you want everybody. But as I was looking, RJ, I mean, our little ECH community here, bigger than almost all of the corporate sponsor leagues of the NHL, just blowing some of them out of the water. Scotiabank, get out of here with your 24 people bracket. Come on. Enterprise, come on with 11 people. What's going on?
Oh man, you gotta rent some fans.
Too. I know they get highlighted too. Like the NHL, like really highlights all their corporate sponsors leagues. Nobody's in them. So just again, want to thank the ECH community. I mean, showing us that we're bigger than giant multinational conglomerate corporations. Love it.
All thanks to you. And hey, I mean, if you're affiliated with any of those companies, you hear us talking trash on you right now, sponsor us. Maybe it'll help you.
Yeah, exactly. We could guarantee
Maybe we
that
might
next
change
year.
our tune.
I was gonna say we could guarantee next year that we could provide you tenfold growth in your bracket challenge.
Those are the numbers they want to see.
We're really rounding out our whole pitch here late in this post game live, RJ.
Oh yeah.
For the off-season sponsor pitch meetings. But yeah, love to see that. And hey, you know what? Also, we weren't too far off of the Florida Panthers official bracket either. So that's pretty cool.
Sponsor us, Florida Panthers. Oh, actually, that might not work.
Yes, definitely. Oh man, love it. And I see all the good night messages and everything from everybody there as well. Appreciate it. Good night, everybody. I mean, good luck getting to sleep, anybody, after all this.
I'll be up for a while. I can say that much.
It's absolutely been a lot. Lindsay, I've been thinking lately about how meaningful the infamous 7-2 Chicken Parm game loss to Colorado was last season. Big turning point for the team. Fan relationship makes this series even better. That's true. I forgot that was against the Avalanche last year.
Yeah, it was. Oh, that's cool. With fitting the first playoff win comes against
so
them.
Good.
I think I'm gonna ask a player or two about that when they come home. I have to.
Yeah, you definitely have to. That is awesome. Thank you very much for reminding us, Lindsay. That is fantastic. Thanks everybody for joining us here. Thanks to everybody for being a part of the awesome community that we have here, covering the Kraken, talking about the Kraken, hanging out, all being Kraken fans, all of it. I love spending this evening with you. I know we're going late, but it's been worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Such a fun time. I've been spending this with all of you. That I was looking forward to this post game all night at the beer hall. I couldn't wait to. I was having a great time, but couldn't wait to get back here, share this with all of you. And the great news, we get to do it again at least 4 more times.
That's right. Get to do it again on Thursday. It's going to be awesome. Game 2. You ready, Afra? You ready?
You ready?
She's ready for bed is what she's ready for. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us for this post-game live. Another shout out to Queen Anne Beer Hall. Again, if you're around, everybody, go check them out on Thursday as well. Maybe say hi to RJ, see if he's got any, stickers or swag, something good.
I gave out all the stickers I brought tonight.
Never
mind.
I
got more, everybody.
Oh, there we go.
I got more. I should have brought more.
There we go. Lindsay, gonna eat some chicken parm for dinner the night we eliminate the Avs. Night all, let's go Kraken. That'll be epic. We have to do that if that comes to pass. Everybody got to do that. It's gonna be awesome. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you all on Thursday.